we're back. Another episode of the How's Your Ground Game podcast. We're here with the Birdman. With us from Vero Beach. Just survived tornadoes and hurricanes.
Hurricane Milton.
Hurricane Milton.
And 122 tornadoes touched down in our town.
122.
122 in like 90 minutes. Something
Nice.
like that. One of them, they were up to EF3s.
Wow.
If you understand tornado verbiage.
That's like, isn't F as high as it goes?
Well, EF5 used to be, I think last year, the past couple of years, they recorded an EF6. So EF5s are like crazy. EF6s are super tornadoes. They're those Sharknadoes. And, but EF3s, 4s, they'll mess your shit up.
You were mentioning that there was like trucks thrown onto the tops of roofs.
Yeah, trucks, 30-yard dumpsters. I mean, just like roofs taken off of houses. Right behind the gym is a warehouse, cement block warehouse. It's gone. It's just, there's just an empty lot there. As long as they came and cleaned it up, it's just gone.
That's crazy.
So yeah, 35 people died in this.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I know. You don't hear about that on the news, but
Yeah.
The hurricane did really nothing. And the tornadoes came, I think the hurricane made landfall in Tampa on the west. It was coming from west to east, so it hits the west coast first. It made landfall around 8 p.m. And these tornadoes were like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, it came long before.
Yeah, hours. 6 or 7 hours, 8 hours before the hurricane even got here.
And you guys lost power, internet?
Power, internet. Some people lost homes, cars.
Holy cow.
There's still a big part of the town that has no power.
Still, it's like a week later.
Over a week later.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Is the shoreline messed up like the beach?
Not really, because it came across land. It didn't come
Through
on the
water.
ocean side.
Got it.
It didn't initiate in the east and come towards us. That's usually when we have the storm surge. So we didn't have a storm surge like the West Coast did, and the hurricane really didn't do that much damage. It was just the tornadoes. And I think it was Saturday or Sunday. The storm hit on Wednesday. So Saturday or Sunday, the surf was so big, we lost our stairs down to the beach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like lost the stairs, like just the tide was so high, or it actually broke the stairs with the...
Broke the stairs with the surf.
Holy cow.
Well, I sent you pictures, right? It was...
Oh, the wave, yeah.
7 and 11 feet.
Huge.
Barrels out there. And it was like, yeah. I was out. I surfed Wednesday during the hurricane. It was big. The next couple of days were just bigger. What are you going to do?
Got to make the best of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait until it all blows over. Get a few good waves in, I guess.
Yeah. While it's still blowing, you get a few good waves. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah. What do you do about like groceries and stuff like that when the power goes out? I'm assuming like a lot of...
Well, I prepped I was doomsday prepping days before. Because a hurricane, you have a week's notice generally.
Yeah.
Okay. The tornadoes, you have 0 notice. So I got, 10 gallons of water, drinking water. I got enough food for the dogs for 2 weeks, I think it was. And I had everything. I had extra ice made. I had enough food, like not much prep work for the food.
Right.
For myself. And I had a cooler ready everything was stationed in the kitchen. I boarded all the windows up on the house, and I was just waiting for the worst. And I had the car loaded, ready in case we had to bug out, everything ready to go. And nothing happened. But I made rice, I made pasta the night before. I had all this stuff in containers ready to go. My grill was ready. I was going to barbecue outside. Had hot dogs, hamburgers. I was like, I'm good. We don't have power, don't have nothing. I'm still good.
That's good. But
But
preparation. That's
I
good.
never lost power, and now I got a refrigerator full of food.
being prepared for the worst. It's good jiu-jitsu.
It is. That is very good jiu-jitsu. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Right, right. Awesome. Well, glad to hear that there wasn't too much damage on your end, at least.
Nope. We were good. A lot of people weren't as fortunate. I feel bad for them, but it was, especially the West Coast. They just had Helene the week before, 2 weeks before.
Right. Yeah.
So back to back like that has got to be horrible.
Just with that going on, something that thought occurred to me. I was talking to our good friend Derek this week, and he's a brown belt. He's been training for probably close to 10 years, I'd say. And we were discussing. He just started surfing, and he got sick, and then so he took a little time off jiu-jitsu while he was recovering with antibiotics. He picked up surfing, and then surfing he hurt his foot. So now for the not very often does he force to take a break. 2-3 months he can't train. Might even take a little bit more time off just to be safe. And I was thinking, it's funny, thinking back to when I was a white belt, and I'm hearing a lot of my students talk about, you get in that mode of training and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's so painful to take an extra day off. It's so painful. I have a few guys who have like little small nagging injuries, like lower back or knee, and they don't want to come to class and not roll. And I'm just thinking about the context of, when you're doing something for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there's going to be life that happens.
Yeah.
Right? You get married, a hurricane comes through, you lose power, the gym shuts down, and we had COVID. You get injured, you lose your job, you can't pay a membership, or whatever, whatever millions of things can happen. It's just part of the process of training. It's
life.
It's life. You train when you can, and you take breaks when you have to. What advice would you give to people that are forced to take those breaks? Or like, let's say you had to close the school for a little bit because of no power, right?
Yeah.
So what would you tell your students, for instance? Hey, it's okay, we're not training for a week. And I know like white belts are eager; they got to get every minute in.
Yeah. Well, it's just review your notes. I always tell people, why should I take notes? Well, life gets in the way. Suppose you sprain your ankle, or you get screwed at work and they switch your shifts around and you miss classes. If you have something to refer back to that's going to be helpful, that would be your notes. Going onto YouTube is not helpful.
Because it's going to be something new. It's not something that you can practice.
Something different than we've been working on at the gym.
Right,
it's something exciting, this, that, but it's not relatable to what you're actually doing as a student.
Right.
So it's going, especially white belts, referring to YouTube. While you're not on the mats, you're moving backwards. You literally are.
Right. You're confusing yourself.
You're taking in unnecessary information that will not help you. It's disinformation.
So going back to the notes.
Going back to the notes that you took on classes you partook in will help you. Oh, I remember this. Oh, yes. Just read through them. That's your best bet, is to review what you've already seen for yourself.
That's good incentive to take notes in the first place. Just a little jot down at the end of class, just to, what was I working on? What did I try? What did we see? What did we do?
Yeah, just something to look back on those times where, even if you miss one night because you're not feeling so hot, right? You gotta, you can't get a babysitter or whatever. You got to stay home with the kids, or your wife's got to work, and this, fine. You got a notebook. Open it up. Read it.
Nice.
Yeah, and if you've been training for a year or so, you should have plenty to read.
That's definitely good advice. I think also a lot of people forget how much jiu-jitsu you can do at home. We get so tied up in the rolling aspect of it, just a little bit of gymnastica, a little bit of hip escapes, a little bit of rolling even on a bare floor, just
if you just did alternating hip escapes to head escapes,
yeah,
and understanding the difference of those two movements and where they apply, if you just got that down pat, you'd be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
Definitely.
Because most newcomers don't understand or appreciate the difference between a head escape and a hip escape.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is what I'm really trying to hammer into my new guys. It's just, these are two things. They're not the same. They're not interchangeable.
On that point, a student was asking me, we were discussing, when do you want to close space and when do you want to create space? And I said, creating space is generally a defensive maneuver, which would be a hip escape. Escaping. And then the closing space is like an attacking maneuver when you want to get closer, which is kind of like the head escape because you're cutting the angle and you're getting closer in a sense.
Yeah.
But I think there was a nuance to it. I wanted to get your take on it, that attacking and defending, I think a lot of times in jiu-jitsu, we make the mistake of thinking of defending as I'm on bottom or I'm in a bad position, and attacking is I'm on top. To me, defending is I'm defending a movement that the other person is doing, and attacking is I'm doing the movement or I'm creating the technique. So you could be bottom side control and want to actually get closer to the person on top because that's what you need to get out of the position, right? To move them to escape.
Yeah, well, you know me, there's two positions in jiu-jitsu, right?
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom. Okay. Now there's two emotions. We'll call them, I don't know, there's probably a better word for it or term for it. Either I'm in danger or you're in danger.
Let's call mind states. Mind state.
Mind state. State of mind. Okay. Either I'm in danger or you're in danger.
Yes.
If you're in danger, I can find space, right?
If I'm in danger, you're going to take my space.
I'm going to take up any space I can find.
Okay.
Whether that be passing, advancing, pressure, whatever. If I'm in danger, I am creating space however I can. A lot of that can be done with a hip escape, or I'm pushing away.
Yeah.
So it's either you're in danger, or you're either on top or he's on top. You're either in danger or that person's in danger. That's really what you have to pay attention to.
There's a Hickson saying that he says only one person gets to be comfortable in the match.
Yeah.
Right? At a time. Only one person gets to be comfortable.
Yeah, that's true.
So danger doesn't necessarily mean danger of a submission. It could be just
danger of being passed, danger of having pressure on me.
Right.
Danger of being mounted. Danger of having attack taken.
Right.
Danger of, this grip going too far.
Right.
Danger of not being able to remove this hook.
Right.
All kinds of, it's not, imminent danger like.
Right.
I'm choked so bad I need to tap out in the next second or two before I pass out. Yeah, that's way past danger.
Right. We're at DEFCON 5, not DEFCON 2.
Yeah. Actually, DEFCON 1 is the worst.
Right.
And 5 is
DEFCON 1, it's already over. You're already choked. Yeah. You're passed out on the mat.
Yes. You're, yeah. When you're about to tap, that's miles past being in danger. That's just you're in jail at that point.
All right, that's a good note. I like that. I'm gonna use that one. Mind state of danger.
Well, that's when I taught the kids class in Brooklyn. Do you remember the game we played?
Space invaders and space creators.
Space invaders, space creators.
That's right. Simple things like this take you pretty far. I think people get lost in the mix of like learning all the techniques and the nomenclature, and there's a few basic concepts. You play with them.
They make it too sophisticated or too grown up, too elaborate, Yeah. They get, stop giving it Japanese names and just common sense it, right?
Right.
That's all it is. Common sense. We don't have to give it fancy foreign names to make it sound more elaborate than it is. Like I said, there's two positions. There's top and bottom.
Yeah.
You're top or you're on bottom. You're either in danger or you're not, or the other person's in danger. We don't have to mention the words ashigarami ever. It's common sense will take you much further than a very elitist vocabulary.
I agree. I think the elitist vocabulary actually limits the imagination and the creativity of where you can go and what you can do, right?
It confuses and it complicates.
Yeah.
It gives you one more thing to think about, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why think about this? Doesn't matter. Are you on top or are you on bottom? Okay, fix it.
Um, on the topic of taking a break, when you're forced to take a break and having to review notes, there's like especially with kind of what we're doing on the podcast, we're talking about jiu-jitsu in like a theoretical nature. We're talking about the philosophy of jiu-jitsu and the mindset. And first, I want to just ask, when you were training, I guess pre brown belt, purple, blue belt. I guess that was like 20 years ago.
A while ago.
A while ago. Late 90s, early 2000s. Were people talking about jiu-jitsu off the mat, or was it just you're doing jiu-jitsu? You drill, you do the drill. If you want to do jiu-jitsu, you're always putting it into action, or was there this kind of philosophical talking at that time as well? No, right?
No, I mean, if you look at MMA.tv at the time, there was the Underground Forum, which was the king of fight forums, especially jiu-jitsu. And then they had to create the other ground. Now, the other ground was created because there were people who were distracting all the people who wanted to talk about jiu-jitsu. We were talking about conspiracy theories and UFOs and Bigfoot and fictitious whatever. So Kieran, the moderator, created the other ground because everybody complained. All these blue belts in the Midwest complained that, like Jamie Cruz and TJ Mitchell, these other guys would start these, ridiculous topics. But we did jiu-jitsu on the mats, and that, I still to this day hate talking about jiu-jitsu. When you know me, I just want to walk the mats.
Oh, I know. You get it's a lot of times we get lost in talking about it, and then when you actually come to the reality, it's nothing what you expected, right? You can theorize as much as possible, but if it doesn't work in practicality, what's the point?
Yeah.
But I think in some ways there are certain things that are beneficial to once in a while talking about jiu-jitsu, maybe not sitting in it, but especially for new students or I think when you're stuck in the grind, sometimes having perspective, having like a more theoretical goal in rounds, a more theoretical goal in training. So, for instance, rather than thinking about every time I roll, I'm going to get these grips and try this guard, right? If you think about, hey, can I start thinking about, am I in danger? And then translate that into looking for space, or am I not in danger trying to eat space, right?
Yeah.
So there is some like qualities to talking about it.
Well, if you're a newer student, if you're a white belt or blue belt, your game plan should be reinforcing fundamentals when you roll.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's as far as you want to go.
You want to refine the mechanics. You don't necessarily need to ponder too much about the why or the how.
You don't have to. I'm gonna link these 5 submissions together as my chain. That's gonna be my game. No, worry about keeping your arms in. Right, protect your neck.
Yes.
That's what you should be thinking about.
Absolutely.
You're not going to go too elaborate at that level. I mean, seriously, at blue belt, you are just starting to learn what jiu-jitsu actually is. Right?
Yeah.
You don't learn much as a white belt because you're getting beat up so much. You're getting tough as a white belt. As a blue belt, you're starting to learn a little bit. So, reinforce fundamentals. That's your game plan. Okay, I'm going to not screw up the head escape, hip escape. I'm not going to hip escape on my arm bars anymore. Right.
You don't want to make that space. Yeah.
So I'm not making space. So I'm going to focus on just escaping my head when I'm attacking or when I'm doing. Okay, now I'm in the bottom of side control. I got to really focus on making my hip escapes. The bridge and the hip escape, I don't want to make them one. They have to be 2 separate actions. Because if you make them one, it's 2 half-ass movements.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the fundamental you're pursuing.
So a message I'm going to send out to the white and blue belts. I've been actually getting on people's cases in class, blue belts especially. Once blue belts get into a rhythm, we were doing like mount escapes, and when you capture the foot, and generally when you capture the foot, your bottom of mount, you end up with a half guard and an easy underhook.
Yeah.
And all my guys, and it's not wrong necessarily, but as soon as a lot of my blue belts, as soon as they capture the foot, they immediately get up on their side and they take the underhook. And I said, it's not wrong, but when you're drilling, it should be discrete movements, right? Stop, go. If you want to add something to the end of it, okay. But when you add the little pauses, that's where you get the forks in the road, right? And if you keep rushing past the forks in the road, you limit what could happen.
Yeah.
And the person on top might let you have the half guard and the underhook because he knows it's coming and he's going to take something you don't want, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. White belts, blue belts, reinforcing fundamentals, just getting those movements. What about for upper belts?
What's that?
What about for upper belts? Purple belts, brown belts, black belts. Should they be talking a little bit more in terms of, philosophical ideas and theories of jiu-jitsu, or do you think that it's a mistake?
Questioning, not talking.
Questioning.
Yeah. Questioning, not talking.
What does that look like?
What does it look like?
Yes.
Like as a purple belt, you should be asking, if you should be rolling with people who are challenging you, if not beating you. Okay? And the questions is like, where did I go wrong?
Okay.
That's, if you're the purple belt who's beating up all the blue belts and white belts and then pontificating about your jiu-jitsu philosophically, yeah. No, that's not going to work, right? Yeah. That's the problem at purple belt is, they're still going to be rolling with some lower belts. So you don't want them talking about too much jiu-jitsu because, hey, purple belts are good, but
they're purple belts?
They're still purple belts. They still have bad days.
They still have bad days.
Okay. And they're still not, they're on the rarer side of cooked, right? They're not done. They're still a little rare. They still need to cook a little longer.
Sure.
So yeah, they should still be asking questions because they're not teaching. They're still learning. And I think a lot of purple belts now are missing that point that they're not. I see so many purple belts with instructor stripes, and that's when they start missing the warm-ups. So they think they're a lot higher than they are.
Right.
And they don't ask questions, and they just assume they know everything. No. You got to be rolling people who are beating you, and you got to be figuring out why they're beating you. And figuring out why you're getting beaten doesn't come from statements. It comes from questions.
Okay.
Yeah. What am I doing wrong? Why do you keep getting me in this?
Right. How do those questions evolve once you're at brown and black belt, and it's harder and it becomes less and less common where you're getting beat consistently or convincingly even?
Well, there you should be able to ask yourself the question and answer that question, right?
Right.
If you're an instructor, you should know exactly, or a black belt, you should, I feel, how you're getting beat, why you're getting beat. You should know.
Right.
Right. There should be no mysteries. I think brown and black belts, their big stumbling block is they're not as honest with themselves as they should be.
Okay.
Right? Oh, he got me because he's bigger than me.
Right.
Did he? Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I see. I think as you progress, as you get better and better, you have to be more and more honest with yourself.
So practically, we should be keeping it to brass tacks and mechanics, meaning working on the mat more often, and the philosophical aspect of it should be brief. It should be just like a little frosting on top.
Yeah, it should be little moments
within
the training.
Got it.
Right? Not a 3-hour fireside chat.
If okay, right. If you're training consistently, like, is it fair to say that those thoughts should be, and those like kind of mental exercises should be kind of um, in relation to how much you're training? So if you're training once a week, you probably shouldn't be thinking about jiu-jitsu too much while you're off the mat.
No, I think that's yeah, because you should only think about jiu-jitsu when it's fresh in your mind.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Like you get home from class and you don't sleep well because you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. But 2 days later, those thoughts that aren't as fresh in your head, right?
Yeah.
Now you're still trying to work them out, but are they as accurate as they were 2 days earlier?
No.
No. So now you're working with kind of unrealistic information.
Yeah, the data is incorrect. So whatever you work out,
overthink that incorrect data.
Yeah.
So again, you're moving backwards at this point.
Right.
Right? You have to boundaries, right? You got to take your notes. Yeah, let it bother you for a couple hours at night, but then put it to the side. Tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
Don't think about the class tomorrow. Reread your notes and reinforce it, but don't try to philosophize about it and try to make it like, how can I make this better? Where can I go from here? How do I turn this into a flying bicep cutter? Don't think like that.
I think we've all had that moment as a white or blue belt where we have this move in mind that, oh, I know exactly what to do. And then you get there in a live roll and your body just doesn't work that way. You're just like, I can't do it because my leg doesn't spin 180 degrees, right? All right. That's good. That's good feedback. I think, especially as upper belts, we need to remind ourselves that you got to keep it on the mat. Drill a little bit more, keep it practical, play around with the body.
Talk on the mats. Yeah, like I said, I'm on the mats. I don't like talking jiu-jitsu. It's not practical, right? Yeah. Because on the mats, if we get to something, we're there. We can work it out.
Right.
We could drill it. We could try it. Yeah. But if you're just gonna, occupy too much space in your brain, and that's going to impede recovery.
Yeah.
Right? Sleep is a big part of recovery that allows us to train. Clear mind allows us to finish other chores and tasks and work that we have. Right? If we're not finishing our work, our chores, and things are piling up because we're thinking about jiu-jitsu, when does that stuff get done?
Right. Yeah. Got to compartmentalize a little bit. This is my jiu-jitsu time. This is my lifetime.
Yeah. And like Carlinos told me all those years ago, if you don't have balance in your life, you won't have balance in jiu-jitsu. If you don't have balance in jiu-jitsu, you won't have balance in life.
Right. Absolutely.
So you have to, limit things, boundaries, right? This is family time. This is beach time. This is coffee time.
Right. On that note, coming to the opposite of the question I initially asked, which is, we discussed this a little bit prior. So sometimes life happens and you can't train. Sometimes life doesn't happen and you've been training for so long, you don't give yourself the organic break, right? So I personally, last few weeks, I've been I can't check out of jiu-jitsu because I got a school to run, And I mean, my students would be more than happy if I took vacation. I know that, but it's not fair to them. I want them to train.
Yeah.
So I come up with ways of making it fun and entertaining for me through those periods. But the first question I would ask is it worth it to take an absolute break, saying, oh, I've been training for a year. I didn't take any time off. I'm going to take 2 weeks with no jiu-jitsu, no thinking about it? Or do you think it's better to just push through it?
That depends on the person. I mean, if you're not having any kind of breaks or breakdowns, don't stop.
Right.
Your body and mind will tell you
when it's time.
When you need a break, when it's time.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're going through and you're good, especially if you have balance already, why do you need to take a break?
Right.
So, I mean, you're going to have to find yourself, you are going to have to find that balance.
Absolutely.
You know, you want to get to that next level, you got to find that balance. You have to be able to, because if not, you're going to crack.
Yeah, absolutely. So for some people, that balance might be every 6 months, I need to take a week off jiu-jitsu. For some people, it might be, nah, my life is already set up the way it is. Just keep
Or how
going.
about training one less day a week?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Or one less class every other. It depends on what you need.
Right.
Some people, it could be like, take an extra 3 days a month and not train than you normally would.
Right.
Dedicate that to, what is lacking. To start with that, or start with one class, and if it helps, and you'll find that the balance you'll find there. Like, okay, now if I only train, I used to train 20 days a month. Now I train 16, and this is perfect.
Right.
17, 18 was tough, and 14, 13 was,
I could do more.
Yeah, I had some, I was getting fat, I was getting in a lot of trouble because I was off the mats and, had some free time. And so but you have to look for it. No one's going to come and tell it to you.
Right.
Right. It doesn't come in the owner's manual.
No, it doesn't.
You have to determine. I don't know what you can ask me. I don't know what goes through in your life. I don't know what happens. So only you can answer. Only the person can answer that. I don't know. Do you have a wife and 9 kids and you work 2 jobs?
Maybe.
I don't know. Are you retired?
Yeah.
Living on your own? Antisocial? You hate all people? I don't know.
That's good.
Everyone's different.
Just to throw out there, I'm too stubborn to take a break, I guess. For me, I think what I find that the longer I can stay underwater with jiu-jitsu, the more it permeates, and the longer you stay with it, like the longer period of time I'm stuck in it, the more valuable the time is. It just sinks in deeper, I guess. So
you think so, huh?
I don't know. That's what I think. I did find, as an aside, I did find during COVID when people were forced to take like these long breaks, people came back after 6 months or a year, and their games, they had lost a lot of superfluous stuff, and they just had this base of techniques that like their mind remembered that were just super strong. Like it's almost like they got better with the time off. So I definitely think, time off is valuable too. But what I was saying is I changed my intention for a little while. So with my students, like when I'm teaching, rather than sticking to fundamentals, I might do a week or two of just, we're doing goofy stuff. I'm going to do rolling back kicks from mount, or when I roll, I'm going to just start inverting for no reason, just to see what happens, right? So I think it just takes a little bit of the weight off of training.
Yeah, keep it interesting.
Keep it interesting. Yeah, give it a different look.
Yeah, but eventually you have to. That's a Band-Aid, right?
I guess.
Yeah, you got to work on something that's more sustainable.
That's true.
Because back in the bike jumping days, we had a little philosophy too. The bigger the air, the bigger the crash, right? Little airs are little crashes. Big airs are big crashes. So trying to say the longer I stay underwater, the more I absorb. Yeah, that's big air, right?
I guess, yeah.
So you don't want a big crash.
Bigger the air, the cooler the trick, though.
Of course, yeah, everybody likes it. But then, when the meat wagon pulls up and ratchet straps you to a stretcher, then we got problems.
That's true. Definitely. Yeah, but absolutely, like you said, it's a learning process, right? We feel out our limits. We see what works, what doesn't work. And also it changes. Like you said, you lose your job, you start a new job, your schedule changes, you have a partner, kids grow up, you have more free time. Kids are young, you have less free time. And then, body gets older, maybe it's harder to roll more often, et cetera, all this stuff. Yeah. The other thing that was coming up a lot is just people, when they're injured or when they're kind of in that mode of taking time off, they're sick, they're injured. Well, sick, they should stay away from the gym anyway. But especially with newer students, it's really difficult for them to stay away and not be able to come to class and not roll. Do you think it's better in those moments to just take the time off? Do you think it's still worth it to advise people come to class, see the class, take notes?
Yeah, sit in class, take notes, or if they can drill. But because what I notice is, especially with newer students, you have to maintain the routine of it all.
Yeah.
You know, if you train 3 days a week, still don't take the time off and suddenly you're filling that time up with something else now. Okay, that makes it harder to come back. You always have to plan on your return also.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So if you go to class Tuesdays and Thursdays always, keep going to class Tuesdays and Thursdays, or use that time to write down stuff about jiu-jitsu, that exact same time you'd be at class. That way you're not like, okay, I'm going to, take up foosball or something.
But on that note, how important do you think it is for all students, both new students and old students, to maintain a routine?
I think it's very important. Yeah, everybody. We're creatures of habit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
why do you go to classes? Why did you go to class 5 days a week?
Why did I?
Yeah. Because that's what you did.
That's what I did. Yeah.
That's what you did. That's what I do.
That's
I
right.
train 3 a day. That's just what I do.
Right. So set it up, pick your days, and just set those aside, make it work.
You have to monkey around with the schedule a little bit to get it perfect for you. Find a schedule that works for you. Because, no one else is using your schedule. You are. So if it works for you, then just find that schedule that works and stick at it. And consistency. That's what we're all looking for, right? Consistency. And if you can get an occasional extra class, is better than missing classes because you've taken on too much.
Got it. Yeah. You don't want that sprint of I'm doing 20 classes and then I'm burnt out, so I'm going to take 3 weeks off, and then I'm going to
take another 20 classes and take a week off. No.
Yeah.
That inconsistency is no good.
Absolutely. Good stuff.
Yeah.
What are you guys working on down there in Florida in terms of jiu-jitsu technique or positions? Or
we're defending the back this week.
Nice. I think we all ran out of mount escapes this week, and I had to dig a little deep. But one night it was a smaller class, and I said, you know what? Honestly, when people mount me, I just give up my back because it's easier for me to defend the back. I think people were laughing at me, and then they realized I was being serious.
Yeah.
Do you find the back easier to defend than mount?
I don't know. It depends. Everybody's different. Either one is fine. I mean, it's just.
Sometimes you end up there. Sometimes you end up there.
Yeah, I mean, you have when you escape from mount, when you escape from mount, you're still on the bottom.
Right.
So a lot of times you escape from the back. A lot of times you're on top.
You're either on your knees, you're in closed guard, something like that.
Yeah, you're on the top. So I think it's a more advantageous escape from the back than the mount. Like mount, you're still on the bottom.
Yeah.
So it just depends. You could have a great mount escape and a horrible bottom of half guard, bottom of side control.
Right. And then you're just stuck in a loop.
Yeah. How good is that for you?
Right.
So yeah, if you do better escaping from the back, do it, because at least it's gonna put you in a better place than in potentially two positions you're not very good at.
Just in case people actually take me seriously, don't give up your back from mount, guys.
Yeah. And don't give up the triangle to pass the guard either.
Don't give up the triangle. Don't give it up for free. If they want the back, make them work for it really hard at least.
Make them take it.
Make them take it, yes.
Yeah, don't give nothing. There's no freebies here. We don't give nothing away for free.
Awesome. All right. Anything else? Any other jiu-jitsu topics you want to touch on?
I don't know. I got the new light up sign for the gym.
Nice. Where's it going? Outside, inside?
Inside, and I got the window graphics came in too, so they'll go up probably beginning of next week.
Birdman wash and fold.
Yes.
That's what the light up sign.
Light up sign says Birdman, the Ewok design.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, with the open late and the stacked guys.
That's perfect.
Like a 24 by 36 lighted frame.
That's awesome.
So it looks real sharp. I got in buttons, pins, little.
Are those going to be available for sale?
They are for sale, and I ordered another round of pins, and I threw some 47s in there.
Nice. We're moving up in the world, guys.
What's that?
We're moving up in the world.
You're gonna be part of. There are 5 buttons per set, and there's 2 series in the set now.
All right.
Series 2 has the 47.
You got to collect them all.
You got to collect them all. And 3 and 4 will be coming out before you know it. I got a sample of a coffee mug, but it came in broken. But looks. Let me just grab it. It's right here.
Nice. Let's take it out.
Yeah.
We got the swag.
What's that?
First look at the swag.
Let's look at the swag.
Well, that's great. That's the Ewok painting.
Ewok painting. There's some little close-ups of the other stuff in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right,
where did it break? Oh, it chipped.
Yeah, chipped right there.
That's awesome.
So it's a cool mug, good size. So I'm sure we'll be getting some more in.
Right on.
They'll be big sellers.
Is it available online through the Instagram?
They will be. I'm still setting up that online portal, and I think that's going to have a shop on it.
The circle.
Circle, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, and I think we're in a merch mood. So I'm getting on early. I think we're going to do Christmas ornaments this year.
Birdman Christmas ornaments?
Birdman wash and fold Christmas ornaments. What do you think?
I think that's good. I think there's a few guys that are interested in those.
Okay.
Maybe I'll make a 47 Hanukkah menorah.
All right. Well, I'll have to make the Birdman menorah then.
There we go. That's it. We can collab.
Yeah, we'll do a little 47 wash and fold combination menorah Christmas tree.
There we go. Yeah.
So there's some way we can do that. And Festivus aluminum pole.
There we go. Yes, for the airing of the grievances. I need that.
Airing of the grievances.
Right.
And the feats of strength also.
Yes, that's right. All right. Awesome. Do you have any? The Birdman clinics in Vero Beach are open schedule. So if anybody wants to book either privates or group clinics,
we're here.
Message you on Instagram, right?
Message me on Instagram, yeah. And we'll get that up. We got some people coming in. I think early November. I got another group coming in.
Awesome.
And they're doing a private one. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, it's good. It's sun is shining. Weather's cooler. It's like 79 degrees right now. It's not overly warm. You guys are cold probably, right?
The New Yorkers are going to start moving your way, John.
What's that?
The New Yorkers are going to start coming down your way.
Yeah, the snowbirds are coming. Yeah, it's good. It's the endless summer, as they say.
Right on. Awesome. All right. On that note, guys, we're going to say arrivederci.
Hang loose.
Stay on the mats. Don't just watch the YouTubes.
Yes. Stay off the interstate or the interwebs. Interwebs.
Listen to the podcast and then go train.
Yeah, and then go train. Then go beat up your sister.
All right, man. Take it easy.
See ya.